This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Chrome Industries Tensile Ruckpack, which I've been testing for the past month. Let's dive in. So kicking things off with the materials here, we've got a 3-layered recycled and laminated nylon and polyester blend of materials here on the outside. I'm not sure if you can hear it, but it does have a kind of an odd noise. Like it's quite a unique fabric. I haven't run into this a ton in testing bags here, but I do like how it feels. It's pretty sleek, and it's got a diamond ripstop pattern. If you look close, I'm not sure how well you can see that because it is pretty white, pretty bright white with the lights we have here. But overall, this material, I do like it, but given this white colorway, I don't know if it's a combination of the white and the materials that are used for this pack, but this bag is seemingly always dirty. And I use normally when I'm reviewing a pack, I feel like I'm using a bag for kind of not its intended purpose because I cycle to and from work every day. And a lot of the bags I test aren't necessarily meant for that, but Chrome makes a lot of cycling gear and gear that's meant for more rugged urban adventures. And this bag was almost constantly dirty given its white colorway. It does also come in black, so I might have had better luck with that. But even with the how dirty this bag did get, and it is spring, so it's raining a lot, and we're getting a lot of mud and stuff like that, I still did like the look. It's a rugged look, and I think it looks good in the city. Occasionally, it would get so bad where I would have to wipe it down. And if I did scrub it, like you can see the bottom here. I guess I'm not sure how well you can see that. It is a bit dirty here on the bottom, and you can see that the top is almost as clean as the day I got it, because obviously this is getting splattered with mud more than up here is. But if you really do scrub this material, it does get as clean as when you got it, so it will look like this top part here. But overall, I do like the look, but if you like a really clean look, the white one might not be for you if you are going to be in situations where it could get muddy or something like that, because it's just really, really white. Another thing about this white colorway is we have this diamond pattern, which is like it's like a gray color, this diamond pattern, which I think adds a lot. If it was just white, I think it might be kind of bland. And then obviously we have these this material here on this side and then on the back here as well, which adds some nice contrast. The black colorway is all black, even these this material here. So that one's more kind of sleek, whereas this one has some nice contrast with different colors. But the interior material is a 210D nylon ripstop, which operates as well as you would imagine it would, and we'll get into that in a bit when we jump inside. On the exterior here, we just have these two zippers here. They are YKK number 5, and they work just as you'd expect them to. They're very, very simple, and they're AquaGuard models. A little close up there, so it keeps the water out if you are stuck in the rain or something like that. So this pocket here has, might as well talk about this now, has access from both sides. I call it kind of like a hoodie pocket because you can get through to both sides, which is nice because if you're riding a bike or even you're just walking around, if you flip it to one side, I can kind of show you that. If you just have one shoulder on here, you can kind of pull it up like this and you can access that pocket and get to it. I did have a little bit of an issue with it though. I am kind of forgetful sometimes, and 2 times when I was heading home, I had this side open, and when I don't like having things in my pocket when I'm riding home, and I put my wallet through this zipper, and I forgot that I had this zipper open. So when I got home, this zipper was closed because I closed it when I put my wallet in there, but this one was open. So in theory, my wallet could have slid out, and then I would have lost my wallet. It didn't happen because this is a pretty tight pocket here, but it is something to note if you are kind of forgetful like I am. And we'll talk about this buckle right now too. So this is an aluminum buckle. It's got the Chrome logo on it. It is quite neat looking, and this bottom part here can double as a bottle opener. It does have a little bit of noise to it. I'm not sure if I'm able to hear it because the bag's kind of packed right now. Not sure how well you can hear that with the other noise from the pack. You can hear it a lot more when the buckle is undone. Lots of shake there, and you do get that a little bit when the bag isn't as packed out. It didn't annoy me terribly, but if you don't like that high-pitched kind of clangly noise, it might bother you a little bit. Right now, this pack is pretty fully packed, so you can see that it's pretty tight. But when this pack isn't super packed, this is seemingly never tight, because you can see how much extra material there is here, and you see how full this bag is right now. I don't see how you would ever need all of this material, and maybe that's just for looks, but I wish that this was a little bit higher up, so that way I could actually tighten it. And I know that's kind of just like a personal pet peeve. It doesn't really affect the bag at all. I like the motion of tightening that and knowing it's tight and just kind of the look of it too. So that bothered me a little bit, but I do think this looks nice, and I think it kind of plays nice with the chrome logo down here as well. This is a more rubberized logo. And I think they're down a parallel line or a straight line there. And this one has a little bit of color, and then this one's just the black and white to match the pack. So we'll flip over to the back here. So on this pack, we have a mixture of Duraflex, chrome, and some unbranded hardware. But the sternum strap here is a Duraflex buckle, and it works, as well as any other buckle I've tested. But something I did notice, especially when I was riding, is that this tends to come loose a little bit. And it's not like a lot, like it's not gonna be super, super loose, but I would find myself, every couple rides, I would need to tighten it up a little bit more. And that's not the end of the world, but it is nice to not have to do that. You can kind of get it where you like it and not have to worry about it. But that is something that I did notice. I do like that it is on a track here, so it's fairly easy to adjust where the sternum strap is. It does kind of like, if you have it in a certain place for a while, it kind of like locks into place. So if you just move it or someone wears it for a little bit, you'll probably be able to find where you had it again, which is nice. And just having it, on a line like that is convenient, because you can kind of make those micro adjustments, especially if you're riding your bike or you're moving quickly through a new city. You want to be able to make adjustments as you move from foot to a bus or onto a bike or something like that. In typical chrome fashion here, we have a lot of attachment points, and we've got these little D-rings here, so you can put stuff on here. Like we've reviewed in the past their phone pouch, and that fits nicely on here. So if you want to have quick access to your phone right here, you can put the phone pouch on there, and then you have that quick access, because there isn't anywhere really on this pack for quick access to a phone other than in that front pocket I was telling you, where you could swing it over and access that. So that's nice to have all these attachment points here. But overall, the shoulder straps are there's not much going on here. Not a lot of padding or anything like that. They are what you make of them. If you want them to be super dense, they're not going to be that, but like I guess I should say they're gonna fit down your body, they're gonna run with your body. They do have this nice S shape, so they kind of conform a bit. I'm just over 6 foot, so they work well for me, but if you're a little bit shorter, these might not conform to you super well. So when I say they are what you make of it, they kind of mold to your body. But if you are a little bit shorter, it's a pretty long pack. So if you're a little bit shorter, you might want to try this one on before, if you could, because these shoulder straps are quite long, and they really don't have that padding if you're used to that. But if you flip them over, they have aeration. And I was really shocked how breathable this bag was overall, especially, you see the aeration here on the shoulder straps, but even the back panel was pretty airy for not having really any padding, no aeration here, no air channels for air to run through. And maybe that's just the material that they used, but it really is fairly breathable. On a really hot day, you're gonna sweat. Pretty much any backpack, you're gonna sweat. But overall, very happy with that. There isn't a ton of padding, and especially, so there's a laptop compartment that we will get to here, but there's a laptop compartment right here. So when you have your laptop in there, that kind of acts as a nice flat surface. But as you can kind of see, this material does not have a lot of structure to it. So when you don't have a laptop in there, there isn't a ton of structure on the back panel, which isn't a huge deal for me, but for some people, they might like that extra, structure and support. So that's something to think about. We do have, I meant to mention too, these little strap keepers on the sternum strap. Lift it up so you can see it. They work as well as intended, but if you're constantly tightening this up, it's kind of hard to keep it in the strap keeper, because if you tighten it, then you need to pull through the strap keeper. So not super ideal, but it gets the job done. And then these adjusters down here are the chrome branded adjusters. I'm sure you can see that. But those work well too. I did not notice any slipping with those, so that is positive. But moving on to the side, we have two really awesome water bottle pockets. So I'm gonna pull my bottle out of here. But this is a 48-ounce Nalgene, and it fits in this water bottle pocket with no issue at all. So we have a little eye here, so if anything gets wet, the water can kind of trickle out of there. And we have this nice like drawstring but elastic adjuster here to tighten down any water bottle that you put in there. You can see it's got some nice width to it, and as I said, you know, for me the Nalgene bottle is the kind of the gold standard. If it can fit a Nalgene, that's awesome. But also if it can fit smaller bottles in addition to a Nalgene, that's awesome too. So this can tighten down so that way you can do that. We do have some compression straps here on the sides, which is an awesome include because this is a pretty big backpack. So if you don't have it completely full, you can tighten these down. I have quite a bit in there right now, so they're not going to tighten a ton. But to make it less kind of frumpy on the sides, you get a little bit tighter there. But something I'm not a huge fan of is that if you do want to do that, but also want to put a water bottle in there, this compression strap here goes over the water bottle pocket. So now I'm not going to be able to fit right now I have mostly soft stuff in there, so the fabric is pushing into the bag, so I still might be able to fit a fairly good sized water bottle in there. But if you have more rigid stuff inside and you compress it, you're not going to be able to put your water bottle in that water bottle pocket because you have basically compressed the water bottle pocket too. So that's not the end of the world. It's just something to think about. If you think you're going to want to compress this bag and also have a big water bottle in there, the two don't really go hand in hand. But we'll move on to the interior now. We already covered this front pocket here. So the next pocket is actually in this hood here. So we have a small pocket right here, and it goes all the way down to about here. So it is a fairly good sized pocket. To be honest, I really couldn't figure out what to do with this pocket though. It's just kind of an awkward pocket and it's constantly moving up and down. What I did for most of the time was actually I put a little first aid kit in there. You never know, especially when you're out and about a lot in warmer weather or on a bike, when you'll need a first aid kit. So I just threw a first aid kit in there and just left it in there. But other than that, I didn't have a great use for it. Because of where it is and it's constantly flapping up and down, I didn't want to put my phone in there because I was worried about it, hitting something, or if I open it up and it flies back and hits the wall or the ground. It just wasn't really a pocket I felt that I needed to use a lot. Anything that I thought maybe I could put in here, I was already putting in this front pocket. So it was just kind of an awkward pocket for me. I guess it's a nice include because it doesn't hurt anything, like it's not taking away from anything. But it's just a little bit awkward for me. If you have a use for it, I'd love to hear about it because I really wanted to use it, but I couldn't figure out a way for me personally to use it. So moving on from there, we've got this nice drawstring closure here. So it's not just this hood. We've opened the hood and then we've got this drawstring closure. And this is not elastic like the water bottle pockets, but it is the same adjuster. And these adjusters work very well. So I'll undo that and then open it up. So right now I've just got a ton of packing cubes in there to kind of illustrate how much you can throw inside this pack. So we've got a Peak Design packing cube. We've got a smaller Heim Planet packing cube. Another smaller Heim Planet packing cube. And then a large Heim Planet packing cube. And there was quite a bit of room to spare in there. Honestly, it wasn't fully packed. And I've also got my laptop in the laptop sleeve. So there really is a ton of room inside this pack. The one thing I will say about how much room is in there is it's kind of like a rectangle. So when you open it up, this will be very hard to illustrate to you, but it's kind of like a big rectangle in there. So, and it's tall. So you can see, that's a lot, pretty tall. So if you are going on a weekend trip or even like a week trip and you're going minimalist with this pack, and you have a bunch of clothes and you don't really have, you're kind of flying by the seat of your pants and you can't really organize them to know when you're gonna need what, and it's really hard to get stuff on the bottom. So I went on a road trip with this pack. We went up north to go hiking and stuff like that. And we never really knew what we're gonna need. And if I needed something on the bottom of the pack, like I stowed my pants on the bottom, it was really hard to reach down and figure out which one it is. You can see when I stick my arm in there, all the way to the bottom, that's my shoulder. So it's really far in there, and obviously you can't see what's down there. So whatever's in the bottom, you just kind of got to know what it feels like, or pull it out, look at it, and then go from there. So there is a ton of room, but it's hard to see it, because it is just from the top, and you're just kind of like reaching into a garbage bag, basically, trying to find your stuff. Ton of room, but not super organized or easy to find. But it does work. This is, as you can see hanging out right now, this is the key clip. It isn't like a traditional key clip, like it doesn't actually have a clip or a ring. So it's just this little D ring here. So you can attach your key ring onto this. So it's more of kind of like a long-term solution, or you just get a key ring and hook it on there, and then you can hook things on there. I do like this though, because it is so long that if you are, coming home from wherever you're coming home from a long day out, you can just pull this out, open your door, and then put this back in here. So even if that means you have a separate set of keys for things you do outside of home, and this is just your home key or your Airbnb is always on there, and you can just whip it out and then open the door, and you're ready to go inside without worrying about losing your keys. So I do like that addition. So these are going to be kind of hard to showcase here, but there is a laptop sleeve here on the back. It fits up to a 15-inch laptop. I have my 15-inch MacBook Pro in there right now, and there's a little bit of wiggle room, but it is a MacBook, so if you have a Windows computer that is a little bit more width to it, you'll probably be able to fit that as well. I'll slide that out. There is a little bit of an area between the bottom of the laptop compartment and the bottom, but because the material on this pack does not really have that structure, it's not really like, normally you like that because it kind of protects your laptop from hitting the ground when you put it down, but it's not a ton of room, and it's also not enough structure in this pack to really, it doesn't seem like it's going to protect your laptop, so I wouldn't really count on that, but it is a nice include from Chrome, I think. On this back side here, we have some internal organization. We've got this zippered pocket up here. This is a YKK number 5 as well. No AquaGuard inside here, just a standard pocket. It's a pretty fair sized pocket. You can see my hand fits in there completely while spread open a little bit. So you've got a nice area to kind of lock some things down, like whether that be a dongle, a charger, or you could even throw like your passport or something in there as well. Zip that up. And then just below that, we've got these 2 liner pockets. And they're a bit smaller, but they're a good size for a wallet. They're not very tall, so they're not great for a phone, but a wallet or something similar to that size will fit nicely. And then just below that, it'll be real hard to see because it's kind of far down in there. We have another zippered pocket, but this time it's mesh. So this time you can kind of, if I'm kind of like sticking my head in there, I can see what's in there. I can't really show you that on the camera because of where it's located. But it is nice, about the same size as this top pocket, and it's nice because you can see what's in there. And if for whatever reason you want to be able to see something, or you want something to get a little bit more air than being stuck inside that pocket, it is a nice include. Now it's empty, you might be able to kind of see what I meant about it being just a big rectangle in there. Just a big long rectangle. So you really can fit a ton of gear in here, but as I said, it's not super organized. One last thing I did want to mention about this pack is that it's not super great in a heavy rain. I got caught in a heavy rain a few times, and it did keep my stuff dry while I was on the journey. But then every time I would always, take my stuff out because I didn't want it to get wet when I got back. But then the material would almost it felt like it would seep through. And then within a few hours, if I didn't put it in a super well ventilated environment, I would almost feel like I could feel a little bit of moisture on the inside, and to the point where I wouldn't have wanted to use it for a little while. And this is more of a heavy rain. A light rain, you'll probably be okay. But in a more heavy rain, if you're, get caught in it for 15 or 20 minutes, it happened to me a few times on my bike. It kept my stuff dry during the journey, but that's, under 30 minutes. And then when I got home, I felt like I had to take it out because I was worried that it was going to get my stuff wet and it would get ruined. And then I had to dry the bag out before I could use it again. So that's something to note. It's not really a weatherproof bag. The inclusion of the AquaGuard zippers is nice, and the laminated material does keep a fair amount of moisture out. But if you really do get caught in the rain, that is something to note. But there you have it, the Chrome Industries Tensile Ruckpack. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.